Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back.
Good morning and welcome to our final show of the year 2023, a show in which no apologies will be given. Joining us today, Shams Charania in Chicago, Stadium Insider, Chandler P, Lou Will. We're from all over the place on this fine day. And I'm kind of excited for what Shams got for us later on in the show. So that is going to be good. But we are going to start with a little Suns Rockets. They got it done, y'all. It's happening. KD, his 18th career triple-double, 27-10, a career-high tying 16 assists. Şengün, Baby Jokic with 24 and 5. He's averaging, by the way, Kevin Durant, 30 points, 37 minutes. He's 35 years old. We know about his injury history. And we also know what's going on with the team and how we keep waiting for the big three to finally get out there, Chandler. How long can KD keep this up while we wait?
Well, they got to keep riding him, right? It's their only option. With the whole expectations of this team was this big three. And obviously with Bradley Beal out, with Devin Booker kind of in and out of the lineup, this hasn't really panned out, right? They're 15 and 15 through 30 games. The good thing is there's still 50 plus games for this team to figure it out. There's still 50 plus games for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to continue to stay in rhythm. And I'm not really looking at Kevin Durant right now as a load management if I'm the Suns, right? The Suns did all this to win now. So if I'm the franchise, I'm an organization, you got to keep going through them. You got to keep getting things from Eric Gordon, and you need a combination of everything because the expectations aren't met right now. Everyone thought this was going to be one of the most electric teams. They're kind of just middle in the pack in all offensive categories, all defensive categories. They're not doing anything really elite. But what they have is elite talent, and they have is elite potential. So when you have a guy like Kevin Durant, you're always going to be in the hunt. You're always going to be able to win some games. And they have no choice but just to continue to ride him and play him 37 minutes a game. And then he's got to go and get you 30. Everything's going to fall on him. Everything's going to fall on Devin Booker. No one's expecting Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon to carry this team. It's going to fall on those two, especially while Bradley Beal's out.
Yeah, Shams. I mean, the whole plan was, and I think a lot of us got very excited when they put this thing together, new ownership, looks like they're going for it. What's the mindset of not just the team, but KD right now?
Everyone has been upset about the losing. That happens across the league. When you're losing games, you're going to be upset. And whether it's teammates, players, coaches, team officials, they've all been upset throughout the organization about being 500, being a 500 team. And from my understanding, they haven't seen anything abnormal, anything extreme that's different other than just normal frustration, normal being upset from Kevin Durant. And last night, clearly he was dedicated to the task at hand with that triple-double career high tying 16 assists for him last night. At the end of the day, the Suns, they know they need to get healthy. They do need to start winning games. And that starts with Bradley Beal being back in the lineup, how much he eases the load for everyone on that team. He creates mismatches, and he makes everyone's life easier. They need him back on the floor. We haven't seen that big three for more than one full game, and that's a problem for Phoenix, getting him back in the lineup. He had that sprained ankle a couple weeks ago, December 15th. It was a nasty sprain. I'm told he is progressing. He is ahead of schedule. And I'm told he could return as soon as this weekend. They play on Friday against Charlotte or Sunday against Orlando. Those games are within the window for Bradley Beal to make a return to the lineup. They know he needs to be available. They know he needs to be motivated. They know he needs to be in the lineup and really embracing that hybrid point guard role that they've set out for him, because he needs to set the table for guys like Devin Booker and for Kevin Durant. And so everything around this team was designed around this big three. And hopefully for the Suns, they're getting closer to seeing that with those three being in the lineup.
I'm going to not get too excited this time. I don't want to be disappointed. But Lou, KD, as we know, likes to get on the old internet and read some stuff. There were rumors that he was frustrated. He went back at that on IG, later deleted the post. I love a KD clapback, but how are you feeling about it?
Don't argue with fools, because people from a distance can tell who is who. It's human nature, man. Like you sit on team planes and you sit on buses and you have so much downtime before and after games. It's human nature to want to check people for misinformation. You know, we have trolls, we have people on the internet. They only wake up to get under people's skin, and for whatever reason, KD likes to defend himself, and a lot of us like to defend himself. You know, if you look at your phone every single day and somebody's talking crap about you or somebody's saying something untrue about you and they claim to be a reliable source or just think they have an inside scoop on what you're going through or what your team is going through, it's human nature for you to want to defend yourself, but you're never going to win that battle because once you respond to one, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of more people with something to say. So smart move on KD, deleting this and just moving on because that would have just been the tip of the iceberg. This is every day for every professional athlete in the world.
I'll tell you this. I think KD, he toes the line, right, with the burner account and things like that. As someone myself who if I'm responding to you on Twitter or on Instagram, it's because I think whatever you said is so dumb and so ignorant. It's not because I'm insecure, right? It's not because I'm trying to tell you my thought. It's because I'm making fun of you if I respond. And I find it so just ignorant that what you said, I have to let you know that I saw it. I'm going to respond to it. But no, are you ruining my day? Am I thinking about you? So I think that's where KD comes from, right? I think it's more, you want to be a troll, you want to clown a complete stranger that's way more successful than you. He's going to respond and clap back and make you feel slightly stupid. So I know that's how I feel. The only way I'm responding, if it's something so dumb that I just have to call out a moron.
Look, I go back and forth. Yesterday, I responded to some morons, but it's more because you just sort of want to, I can't just tell everyone not to breed that is stupid. Although I guess I could spend the whole day doing that, but it's just sometimes you just pick one and you go for it. And Lou, you better have our back next time. I swear to God, when we're in studio again, we're going to have a real talk about teammates. Okay.
You talking about having somebody back. Wait. Chandler and I had a rough day yesterday. Where were y'all?
Listen,
It was a fun day.
It's everyone. This is the problem about social media. Everyone has an opinion and everyone can just say whatever they want and everyone's reachable. So that's the world we live in.
Reachable, I know.
The names I was called yesterday, but I'm going to take it in stride. I'm new to the media.
I'm now a racist. I'm now a racist. That's literally going to get murdered if I go to Memphis, Lou. So that's that.
Well, the good thing is you're never going to Memphis again. So
yeah.
Well, I'm from Memphis, so I'll be back and forth.
You're going. We're not going. We can go to Houston, though. However, right now, the Rockets find themselves in a bit of a different situation. They've lost 5 of the last 7. We know the hot start that they got with, Lou, but are they destined for play-in? Is this more realistic as to who they are right now?
So this was my problem early in the season with this group. Let the basketball do the talking. I understand Coach Udoka, he's trying to find that identity. He's trying to instill some toughness in these guys, but you got to play basketball as well. You got to put yourselves in a position to be able to back up the talk. You got to be in a position to be able to back up the antics. And right now, they're in somewhat of a slide. They're still a very young basketball team, even though they have pretty good vets on that basketball team in Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. And baby Joker is coming into his own as a young player in this league. And they got a lot of talent. You know, this is going to be a process for this team. So it's looking really late play-in, 8-9 seedish for them. And for them to be respected, they got to get that down. They got to get one of those guaranteed spots.
All right, keep our eye on that one. Big game last night for the Dallas Mavericks. They lost. That's the spoiler alert. Cavs come back from 20 down, winning this one by 3. Karis LeVert finished with 29 and 7. Jared Allen had 24. Luka, 39, 7, and 6. Wasn't enough. Chandler, the final moments, the final sequence of this entire thing, they're down 113, 110. There's a chance for the Mavericks to tie. What can you take us through this? What's going on?
Well, obviously, this is kind of what they do. They put the ball in Luka's hands. They try and let him make a play. But when you get a double teamed at half court, you got to get off the ball sooner than this. So I think the only thing he struggled with is guys didn't come to the basketball, right? Right now, the big's got to flash to the middle earlier. He's got to help him. He's got to come to the free throw line. And then from there, he'll have options. He can kick it, but kick it to someone that over helps and kind of get a 3. Being down 3, it's tough. The Cavs played this great, right? They were willing to give this ball up in the middle of the floor. They didn't leave shooters, and they really didn't give them a chance to hit a 3. And this was just a Hail Mary that wasn't going to work. But if you're Cleveland and you're not gonna foul here and send them to the line, this is the way you have to defend this. You double team the best player. The Mavs probably shouldn't even have had Lively in the game, who's not really a 3-point threat, down 3. That didn't really make sense to me. But he's got a flash to the middle. But even if he gets the ball at the free throw line, if they don't leave the shooters, they can't score 3 points inside the line. So I thought it was beautifully defended by the Cavs, and just a tough decision to have your center that doesn't shoot threes down 3 there at the end of the game.
Yeah, and Chandler, I was gonna say this is smart by the Cavs. Somebody else is gonna beat us. It's not gonna be Luka, especially when you need 3. And I'm also excited that a team tried something different than just fouling and playing a free throw game. I've always had this argument with my coaches. I absolutely hate that strategy down the stretch. If you're down 3 points, why am I fouling, giving away 2 free throws, and now I'm putting the pressure on my team to come down and make free throws in order for us to survive the basketball game? Make these guys make a play. I'm not donating 2 points to them. And so to see a team guard this differently and it works out, I was excited to see that, because I've argued with so many coaches about this strategy of being down 3 and fouling and giving up free throws.
And like you said, if I'm Cleveland, anybody besides Luka can beat me, and we will live with that. We will sleep well, and we will go watch film. We will get better and correct it the next time. But there's no way that guy's getting the shot off.
I mean, the fact that there's no Donovan, there's no Mobley, there's no Garland, they still managed to pull this off. You see the defense there at the end, Lou. What does that do for a team like Cleveland?
You can see it in that last clip. You know, this team was playing with a lot of effort and a lot of energy. They're going to have to bottle that up. They figured out they can't outscore teams. They have very great scorers on that basketball team, but they're going to have to be a defensive-minded group. They're going to have to sit down and get stops and give themselves an opportunity to win basketball games. So I think they found something in their identity last night that they can work with. You know, these guys got to play with a lot of effort, a lot of energy to give themselves a chance to continue to move forward.
And anytime that it's late December, right? It's a game against Dallas. You're never going to talk about this game ever again. But anytime you have your 3 top guys out and you can get a win, it instills confidence in Okoro, who had 22 last night, and instills confidence in all these other players. This new point guard Porter, who I love, it gives them confidence, and it gives JB Bickerstaff confidence that no matter what happens, who's in the lineup, who's out of the lineup, we have enough to win a game. And that's huge for this team who had high expectations, who came off, the 4th seed last year in the Eastern Conference, a disappointing postseason. This is huge going forward. This could give them kind of that vote of confidence to where it doesn't matter if Donovan's out, we have enough. It doesn't matter if all 3 guys are out. We just beat a really good Dallas Mavericks team. So this is huge for the coaching staff and the players moving forward.
A really good Dallas team and a really hot Luka. Here's the run that he's on, Chandler. And I know you are one of his biggest fans on television and anywhere else, but last 15 games, he's averaging 36.7 points, 8.8 rebounds, 10.3 assists, and he's just 24 years old. Obviously, year in, year out, he's talked about amongst the greats, but where is he all time? Are we in that conversation yet?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's early. He still has a lot to prove. Obviously, winning a championship and winning at a high level is only going to help him. But now statistically and individually, what he's done this early, he's an all-time great. I talk to Dirk all the time. And when you talk to someone like that, and he praises Luka Doncic, he already says how much better he is than Dirk already. And, outside of that championship run in 2011, what this kid has done is special. And there's nothing he can't do on the floor. He has no real position. He hasn't really had a great team since he's been in Dallas. So he's kind of doing this with a very mediocre team. I mean, look at those numbers. His over-under tonight, I had to take under. His over-under tonight is 36.5. That's ridiculous for him. I don't care who you are. That's absurd over-under prop bet for a player point. It's ridiculous, but he's probably going to go over because he's that good and he's that talented with the ball in his hands. But yeah, we haven't seen something like this in a long time. He's unbelievable.
Lou, have you ever been on a run? Do you remember a stretch of games where maybe you were just on a roll? Either one of you, really.
Absolutely. 2018 was probably one of the best years of basketball for me. I remember always making a joke and shoot around with guys like Terrence Mann and SGA that, hey, listen, that shoot around, I got 20 right now. Anything else I do in the game, that's going to be extra. That's just how I felt going into basketball games. I was on a tear. I felt like nobody could stop me. I felt like teams couldn't do anything with me, and that's the year that I won my second Sixth Man of the Year, averaging nearly 24 to 25 points a game coming off the bench on that basketball team. And so those are very special runs. When you're coming into that arena and you have the confidence of the world, and you know it doesn't matter what they throw at you, what any junk defenses, and you're having that, and you just feel like you can put a team on your shoulders. It's so powerful for a basketball player. And to see Luka doing this night in and night out, it's going to be scary for teams coming that's going to try to play this Dallas Mavericks team in the future, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've had nothing what Luka's doing for 25. But there was a good 2-month stretch in Dallas there where Dirk went out, Carlisle put me at the 4. And like Lou said, I averaged, close to 25 a game for a couple months stretch. And it's like everything's going in. You're now the focal point. The ball's in your hand. You're making shots. You're efficient. So you just feel, and that's for a small sample size. What I did, this he's done it for 4 or 5 years consistently. So when you're on a heater like that, you just know, how people guard you. You know how you're getting double teamed every time you come across the court. You know how the scouting report is tailored just to try and stop you, and you still have 40. So he knows how, powerful he is with that ball in his hands, and it's a crazy feeling.
Another game last night, Knicks Thunder. This is the one I watched. Thunder defeat the Knicks 129-120. They're now second in the West. Sure, SGA did his thing as he does, but Jalen Williams had himself a career night with 36 points. Julius Randle with 25 and 9. Here's the deal, Lou. I know they're young. I think they're the 3rd youngest team in the league now. But recently they've beaten the T-Wolves, the Clippers, and the Nuggets. Is it just the youth part of things that is keeping us from maybe talking about them more seriously as we move forward into the season? And they just need another season or 2 of seasoning? Am I saying season a lot? I am. Yeah, is that what it is? A season. Is it the age, or do you need the experience? What is it that's not allowing us to say, well, they could do some damage this year?
It's a lot of basketball to be played. You stick around in the pros long enough, no matter whether you're a young team or not, you're going to get some quality wins throughout the course of that season. And that's what they're doing. This is a talented basketball team. They're going to compete at a high level. They have talented guys. SGA he's talented enough that he's going to lead them to some very good quality wins throughout the course of the season. For me, it's the long game. You got to show and prove. This has to be something that you do consistently throughout the regular season and the postseason for you to earn that respect. And it's a lot of basketball to be played, a lot of really good basketball to be played. You got teams like Golden State and the Lakers not sniffing the playoffs right now. Teams that are over 500. The Lakers are over 500, not Golden State, but it's still a lot of good basketball to be played. It's not going to be sweet for anybody coming out of the West. And so they can take away some good vibes from this. And these are wins that they can build on, and they're building something special. But for them to be contenders to come out of the West to compete for a championship, they're going to have to show and prove on a night in and night out basis.
And
yeah.
You know what, too? The makeup of this team, they're made up to be a great regular season team, right? They're young. They have energy. They don't get tired. The back-to-back rule, how they're going to be exhausted on the second end of back-to-back, that doesn't apply to them. That does not apply to them. They went in last night, smacked the Timberwolves, come right back. I think the spread here was 3, Knicks +3, and everyone's like, I'm all over that. Doesn't matter. This team, they're so young. They have so much energy. They bounce around. They fly around. But they're also very, very talented. So like Lou said, I think there's still a lot of basketball to be played. I think we haven't seen it yet, right? So we've seen a lot of teams that have been great in the regular season, get a lot of wins, and then don't play that way in the playoffs. I trust the Clippers more in the playoffs. They've been there. I trust the Lakers against this team more in the playoffs. Are they going to have a better record or a better, more wins? No. But that team to half-court offense, slowed down, national TV games every single night in the playoffs, where it's more physical, they're not getting the whistle, that scares me. That's the only thing that scares me with this team moving forward. But it's hard. I'm nitpicking at this point because they're so young and they're so good.
Yeah, they're in a great situation. Sam Presti, this was the long game. They had a blueprint. They followed it. Chandler, if you're the GM, do you take some of these picks, which they still have, and you go out and get a player now, add him, or do you continue along this path that you've set where you slowly build?
Not yet. I keep riding this wave. In the back of my mind, I'm obviously observing and I'm watching every single day of how we can make this team better. but I'm not breaking up this core. I'm not giving up Williams. I'm not giving up Chet. I'm not giving up SGA, and I'm not giving up Giddey. So those four,
Oh, no.
if you want to play around with these other guys on the roster, maybe, but it doesn't always make your team better adding someone like that. Do you throw a DeMar DeRozan, you throw a Levine, you throw that sometimes can hurt your team, and it breaks up the rhythm and the process and the growth of a team like this in the situation. Now, it could help, and it could give them that leadership and that vet experience in the postseason, but don't fix what's not broken right now. I'm going to keep riding this. I'm going to keep going. These guys are playing well. They're clicking. They look like they have so much fun playing together. They play hard. They defend. They have a little bit of everything. So I love that they have assets, and I love that they can at any moment get better, but I'm not fixing what's not broke.
Crowd is all in, Shams. It's very rare that we talk about a team and be like, oh, add something quickly. But it seems like we're thinking, no, don't add anything. Have you heard anything about what their plans are moving forward?
First of all, CP had a great assistant GM career while he was an NBA player. So he's speaking from experience, no question. The Thunder, they want to continue to build internally. When I talk to teams around the league, they look at the Thunder as a group, like Chandler said, like you're playing with house money in a lot of ways. You have flexibility long-term. They have the ability to be in any superstar trade because of all the draft picks and young players Sam Presti has compiled. So you want to see how far can this group go. It's hard to say exactly what their true need is on the roster, especially if you're trying to get a frontline player, a tier 1, tier 2 player. It's hard to know exactly what you need until you see this team in the playoffs. Last year they get to the play-in. The natural progression for this team is making it to the playoffs this year. And so when I talk to teams around the league, they know the Thunder are looming as far as a team that can be aggressive in any superstar trade. We saw Sam Presti a few years ago, be aggressive, go out and get Paul George to pair him with Russell Westbrook. So they're not afraid to take swings, but this is a group that's built organically, and I think teams around the league expect that to continue.
There was a moment last night, Nick's Twitter sort of blew up, is quickly. He had 22 points in 25 minutes, and he's averaging 24 minutes on the season. And I think he took him out, put RJ back in, and the world blew up. Should quickly be getting more time?
Yeah, excuse me. I know Tibbs is a defensive-minded coach, and so for those backup minutes, I know he's giving Josh Hart those minutes starters, DiVincenzo. I think Quickly should be playing. I think he should be in that rotation. I know 2 or 3 years ago, he was an integral part of what they were doing and what they were building. And he had a lot of success with his basketball team. I don't know what changed from that. Maybe Tibbs feel like, I got 3 or 4 guys that I feel like I can put the ball in their hands and they can go give me a bucket. So it's not needed as much as it was in the past. With bringing in Jalen Brunson, bringing in Josh Hart and guys like that who can score the basketball. And so, you've seen his minutes kind of dwindled a little bit, but he's still a 6-man type of guy. He's still a microwave type of guy that you can go throw out there and he can go get you 20 points in a quick amount of time throughout the course of a basketball game. So I feel like he should be playing more minutes.
All right, we'll keep our eye on that one as well. There was a game out here. The Nets hosting the Bucks. Well, not playing for the Nets. It was insane. They rested 3 starters against the Bucks. Who gets that? But the Bucks defeat them 144-122. Giannis 32-10. Middleton 27-10. Those are both season highs for him. Look, we're a third of the way through the season. The Dame Lillard Giannis experience, we all knew needed a little bit of time. We'll figure it out. If we're at this point in the season right now, Chandler, how would you assess what those 2 guys have done?
I'd give them a B+. I think the expectations coming out early were very high, right? We thought on paper this made the most sense ever with Dame shooting, with Giannis's attacking downhill. We thought this was going to flourish, but what you don't realize is it takes time. They've had games where they've looked elite. They've had games where they've looked pretty mediocre. Their holes are on the defensive end. Their holes are playing defense, locking in, and the health of Chris Middleton in my eyes. But when you look at this combo, listen, they're 23-8. They're second in the East. So it's not like they're in a bad place. I think they can play with anybody if they're peaking and they're healthy going into the postseason. They have a tall task and they're going to have to go through Boston and Philly and whoever else kind of ends up in that mix there. But I think they're fine. There's definitely no reason to panic. These guys they seem to be healthy. Chris Middleton, kind of has been up and down. Lopez, same thing. They need to get Jay Crowder. They need to get Connaughton fully healthy to kind of help them on the defensive end. But they're going to score points. They're going to end up being elite offensively. They just got to lock in defensively to kind of take that step to being a championship team.
Lou, you heard it. Middleton had a season high last night with the 27. I know he's sort of the variable on his health. Where will he be? If I could tell you that he would be in all-star form, but by the time the playoffs started, what would that do for your predictions of who comes out of the East?
Well, I still think Boston's the team to beat, but it's a few things that Milwaukee has working for them. They have championship experience. They have depth. And they're starting to figure out what their identity is. We got to put the ball in Damian Lillard's hands. And even though Giannis is a former MVP, even though Chris Middleton is an all-star in his own right, this is the guy that's going to have to carry us. And so having Chris Middleton as a third option is going to be very dangerous coming up in these playoff runs, and especially against a Boston team who can play defense, who's going to play defense at a high clip and has a clear identity of who's going to score the basketball for us going down a stretch of basketball games. And so Chris Middleton is going to be very important to what the Milwaukee Bucks are going to try to do going into the postseason this year.
Trade deadline, Shams. Are the Bucks going to do anything?
Well, asset-wise, they're pretty limited. They gave up a lot to go get Dame Lillard, so they don't have many draft pick swaps to play with. And when you look at the roster, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, those guys are clearly untouchables. You got Bobby Portis coming off the bench. He's a valued piece. So they don't have much to play with. But when I talk to teams around the league, the one thing that the Bucks have made calls on is trying to get a 3-and-D wing, a guy that they can plug and play as a starter coming off the bench. Jay Crowder coming back in the lineup. He's rehabbing his way back. They're hopeful his return is around the corner. Him coming back will be a big addition as well. They need that toughness that he was bringing. He was arguably their second, third best player to start the year at different points, how valuable he was. He was third on the team in minutes played. So they're going to be open-minded. They just don't have much to play with.
The problem is Bridges is really their only guy, right? Like he's their only player that can be a top 1 or 2 player on a really good team. And that's not to knock their team. They have players. I love Dorian Finney-Smith. I love Cam Johnson. I love role players like Royce O'Neal. I love Lonnie Walker. Ben Simmons, is he ever going to play? So they have like all these players that are just these solid NBA players, but I don't really see their vision. I don't see what they're going for. Like I said, outside Bridges, I think all these guys are tradable. I think these guys are a lot of teams could use a Spencer Dinwiddie right now. So I think they should be very active and at the trade deadline. But they're just kind of jumbled up in the middle of the Eastern Conference. They have no chance of winning this year. I don't really see their future. I don't really see, what they're doing, but they have a lot of players that a lot of good teams can use. I'll say that. I guess that's their best attribute this year.
And I got to be honest. My bad, Shams. I hadn't watched 1 minute of. I hadn't watched 1 minute of Brooklyn Nets basketball this season. Between Kyrie drama and KD drama, James Harden drama, Ben Simmons drama, it just got to the point to me it just wasn't interesting anymore. So I tuned them out. I'm just waiting for them to get back on track when they have some consistent hooping plan and we can just focus on that part. Then I'll be back on the Brooklyn Nets train. Until then, I'm tuned out.
I saw one clip and it was Nick Claxton yelling at Cam Thomas to pass the ball. That's pretty much the only clip I've seen on the Brooklyn.
Not good.
And Cam Thomas was wide open. So I was so confused about that. He was wide open. He was still yelling at him to pass the ball.
Shams.
This was the strangest thing to me. I don't know if you guys saw last night. Mikal Bridges plays only the first quarter, plays 12 minutes, and then doesn't play the rest of the game. I guess they're on a back-to-back, but whatever it wasn't communicated to him because after the game he goes, I didn't like the choice and whatever that was, but it's whatever. I'm definitely not a fan. And they asked him, do you need rest? And he said, no, I never do. So I don't know what miscommunication happened between Mikal Bridges, Jock Vaughn, but Mikal Bridges clearly was not happy last night playing only the first quarter. I mean, you guys play in the league. Have you ever seen a situation where a guy only plays the first quarter on a back-to-back, had no idea he was only going to do that, and obviously is very upset at the decision?
Shams, this is my point. More drama. I'm out.
Here we go.
I'm out.
They don't think about it. They don't even have to they don't know how to properly rest a player. If you're going to just don't play him at all, why you're going to play a guy?
Well, he got the consistent game streak going. So maybe they want to keep a streak going.
But that's weird too. But then why wouldn't he know that? Why wouldn't that have been communicated?
Right.
It just doesn't seem it's not like you guys are rolling or you're exhausted. Like you're a 9th seed. You're fighting for a play-in and you're rested. You're playing a guy 1 quarter as your only real good player. Like seems a little silly to me.
Also resting him against Giannis. I feel like those guys would want to play in that game, but what do I know? What do I know? Shams, the good thing is you know lots. And when we come back, we have Shams scoops and a little bit of in and out.
Run it up, run it back, 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 run it up, run it.
There's nothing more that I want to do other than win a championship here in the city, and I know the city really wants it. You know, when I got to Kentucky, they had just won a championship 2 years ago. When I got to the Lakers, they had won it 4 years ago. You know, so I guess they had a little bit more patience. But you know, coming here to New York, it was a challenge that I wanted to win a championship.
That was the recent sit down with Julius Randle. Shams, what'd you learn?
I learned that there's a lot that gets made of Julius Randle, his happiness. He's gone back and forth with the fans at different points, but I do think he wants to win in New York City. He wants to win with the Knicks, and his happiness can be misconstrued at a lot of moments. He's obviously a lightning rod for Knicks fans, but he's turned it around the last couple months of the season. He got off to a rough start those first 6 games of the season. But really the last month and a half, he's been dominant. The question for the Knicks is always, can they win in the playoffs? Can Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle be your duo that can lead you to the playoffs? Julius Randle, to me at least, told me he believes so.
Yeah, there are some moments in last night's game where I was like, that's the Julius Randle. That is the guy that can get things done. We also have some scoops. A weird one from yesterday, Shams, and I immediately texted you because it involved a dog. What happened?
Aaron Gordon, on Christmas night, he suffered dog bites, lacerations to his face, to his shooting hand, his right hand. 21 stitches, from what I'm told, were required. And now Aaron Gordon is going to be out indefinitely. The hope is it's not going to be super long-term. Certainly going to be through the weekend. But he's going to be out in an indefinite period of time. There's no timetable. They want to give him time to recover. Michael Malone, their head coach, said yesterday, we need to give him time to recover physically and also mentally, you know, making it seem like there's something, you know, traumatic that obviously happens when you get bit by a dog like that. But obviously we're wishing Aaron Gordon the best from this Christmas Day night activity that happened.
So there was a lot of speculation. I don't even know if we know, but is it a pet? Was it a stray? Like what? This is a crazy visual.
Yeah, it was, from what I'm told, it was his dad's dog. Not sure which type of dog it is, but it was his dad's dog. It was a family dog. And obviously it was Christmas Day, Christmas night. His family was around, and clearly what seems to be an accident happened.
I feel confident in saying it was not a Chihuahua. That has to be one big ass dog. And hopefully everyone is okay. But him being out for a while, guys, that seems like kind of a big deal. Chandler, how big an impact?
Yeah, it's huge. We all know how valuable he is, and they don't really have anybody like him on that roster. You know, I mean, they can go with Najee, they can go small with, you know, Holiday, it's Christian Braun, guys like that, but they don't really have a big, strong physical muscle like Aaron Gordon, who plays well off Jokic as a lob threat. You're taking out 14, 15 points, 7, 8 rebounds a game. And the guy does all the little things. He can defend the other team's best player. So it's going to be a blow to their team, obviously, but they still have one of the best duos in the league. And this is an opportunity now for one of these young guys to step up in his absence.
Lou, that was one of the crazier Shams moments on Twitter yesterday. I was like, a dog? What? I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what type of dog. I know if you go on Aaron Gordon's social media, he has pictures with Rottweiler. So just being a guessing man, I'm probably thinking it's going to be a dog in that range. And, you know, that family probably likes aggressive dogs, but definitely a freak accident. Hope Aaron gets better and he's able to fully recover and continue on the path that he's on. And so big blow for the Denver Nuggets. Like Chandler mentioned, they don't have another guy like him. Even though his stats doesn't jump out at you on paper, he's the recipient of a lot of those Jokic passes with the way that he plays. He's coming out of the back doors, create mismatches, and using his size to create advantages for himself on the floor. And so this is gonna sting a little bit for the Denver Nuggets.
A Rottweiler, a big ass dog. I stick with that. Shams, this is the last time we're going to talk to you until the new year. I know you probably have the sexiest plans for New Year's Eve. I hope you rage. Have a good one.
Happy New Year's to you all. You know how much I appreciate you guys. I think we're going to kill it even more in 2024. So appreciate y'all.
Back in studio soon. Have fun. Be safe. You guys, we're doing in or out on third-year players. Okay, this is going to be fun. So.
Okay, that's specific.
Yep, it's very specific. So we're going to narrow it down somehow, Lou. We're going to start with you. In or out on the number 2 pick, Jalen Green being a future All-Star?
I'll give him some motivation. I'll say out. You know, this is. I'll give him some motivation. I'll give him somebody to be mad at, so he can get in the gym and get in his bag and have somebody to put a picture on the wall to prove wrong. I just feel like he's very talented player, but you got to think, you know, the All-Star game is 24 guys. He has to do something outstanding that sets him apart from the rest of the pack. You know, especially he's on a team with another young guy, and Sengun that's averaging 20 points a game. You know, I feel like that success should be his. He should be the focal point of the Houston Rockets, with them drafting him so high. And so having another guy on your team playing slightly better than you, I'm gonna give Sengun that vote of confidence of being a future All-Star opposed to Jalen Green. And so I hope I'm wrong. I love Jalen's game. I love what he brings to the table. I would really want to be wrong in this, but I'm gonna say I'm out.
And the motivation has been laid out. All right, we're gonna look at the 5th pick from 2021, Jalen Suggs. Can he be a good enough shooter, Chandler, to be a starting point guard on a championship team?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think he's solid. I think he's having a great year. He's averaging 13, 3, 2 or something. His numbers are actually shockingly well. He's shooting 37% from the three. So if he can continue to do that, it's just, he's not a shooter, right? So that's not his attribute. What he does do is he defends. He's athletic as hell. He gets out in transition. I don't see him as a starting top point guard in the league, but I think he can still have value and be that backup point guard that comes in with energy and toughness and does all the little things while getting, 10 to 13 points a game. But I don't see it. I loved him at Gonzaga too. I thought he's going to be a lot better earlier, and he's having a great year. But no, as a starting point guard on a championship team, I don't see it quite yet.
Okay, we got 2 outs so far, Lou. Here's a good one. The 7th pick that year, who's been on a roller coaster ride so far, Jonathan Kuminga. When Draymond comes back, are you in or out on Kuminga keeping a starting spot?
I'm out. I don't see a scenario in Draymond Green coming back and coming off the bench for an organization that he's won 4 championships with, that he's probably the best defensive player that they have. And he's an integral part of what they've been able to accomplish over the years. The day I see Draymond Green coming off the bench for the Golden State Warriors, there's going to be trade talks immediately. Even though Jonathan Kuminga is playing well, he's getting valuable minutes, and that's going to be great for the Golden State Warriors moving forward. But I don't see him starting over Draymond Green coming back, so I'm out.
What a visual that would be, Chandler. All right, here's a good one. The 8th pick, Franz Wagner. Are you in or out on he becoming eventually better than his teammate, Paolo Banchero?
It's tough. Who knows, right? Like maybe, but they're kind of similar. I love the way he plays. He's kind of like that Hito Turkoglu, big 6'10" point guard, can post up, crafty, really knows how to use his body, and he does things like that where he goes, it's unorthodox, it's opposite hand, opposite foot, it's Euros, slowing down, step throughs. So I love his game. It's just to say he's going to be better than a guy that's, rookie of the year, that's having currently a better year than him is tough. But I think going forward, this could turn into a really dynamic duo that Orlando, vitally, they need badly. So I think it's a good situation, but to say he's going to be better than Paolo, I can't do that yet.
That's tough. By the way, Orlando's got dudes. Like there's 3 guys we've already talked about in this short segment. Okay, you mentioned him, Lou Sengun. He was the 16th pick in 2021. Is it possible? Are you in or out on he being the best player out of that draft?
I am out.
You thought about it.
Yeah, because it's a 1A, 1B thing for me. He's having a lot of success right now, but we've talked about Scotty Barnes much more than we have spoke about him since that time of the draft. And so I'm going to give Scotty Barnes that nod, but Sengun has been doing a great job in putting his name in that conversation. So I'm out again.
Okay, out. Have we had an in? We have not had an in. All right, maybe this one. I don't know.
Yeah, Lou.
But I know,
Let's
we're trying to figure that out. All right, if we redraft this entire class, Chandler, we'll start with you. We're both going to answer this. Would Cade Cunningham still go top?
Yes.
Yes. In. Okay, we got an in. Lou?
We're looking at his team, and it's god awful. So
I know.
You put him on any other situation, I still think he's just as good, and he's going to be a great player for a while. Like if you look at who's going to have more All-Stars, Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green going forward, I'm taking Cade Cunningham. The only player I really like better than him to make more All-Stars is Sengun, probably. Maybe Scotty Barnes.
That's the only thing I was going to say. I would just say if we were reclassing, give me Sengun at 1 and put Cade Cunningham at 2.
That's big.
Sengun's a stud, dude. I don't know where he came from. He's a bucket. He can pay. He's baby Joker. By the way, I love Evan Mobley too. Evan Mobley doesn't get a lot of love too. He's not playing right now, but he's bouncy. He's got the Jaren Jackson potential too to be an all-star one day.
Goals, guys, goals. Taking a quick break. When we come back, the top 5 duos. Oh, I love a top 5. According to these two. Run It Back returns.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back,
Welcome back. We got a rank 'em here. It's a top 5, a legitimate top 5 list. Duos in the league. And Chandler, you're going to get things kicked off. Give us your list, 5 down to 1.
Okay, I had number 5. I'm going with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. In my defense, I sent this during the in-season tournament when they were rolling. And historically, I'm paying my respect to these two. I think healthy, and I don't care about LeBron's age. They can still dominate and still be a very, very effective duo. At number 4, I love Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. We haven't seen the best of them yet. We've seen big games. We've seen bad games. We know these two are elite scorers. They can do it all. Just need to start winning some games. Number 3, I went Giannis and Lillard. I think these are two of the most dynamic players. I think, like we always talk about, on paper, they should fit. They should play their second in the East. They're sitting well. At 2, this is a tough one for me. I didn't know if I wanted to go them 1 or not, but I went with the Joker and Jamal Murray. They're the champs. I feel like they could be either 1 or 2, but I went with number 2 just because you know how much I like the Celtics. I like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, number 1. I think this is their year. I think right now, currently, this is the best duo in their prime, age, athletically, everything about them. I like them, number 1.
All right, so this is what I find interesting, Lou. I thought you guys would have a ton more overlap, but you don't necessarily. So it's just crazy.
No.
So Lou, give us yours, and then you guys can tell me what's wrong with what.
Yeah, reason being for me with Katie and Book and Greek and no, these are not my picks. I'm just saying I left them out because I feel like they're part of trios. And so number 5, so number 5, I'm going with Luka and Kyrie. And I'm basing this off of potential. We still hadn't seen enough of these two guys play together, but when we do, it's electric, man. They do a lot of good things together, and 2 of the top guards in the league. And so I'm going to kick it off at number 5 for these guys. Number 4, Joel Embiid is proven, former MVP, and Tyrese Maxey is having a coming of age moment. You know, he's getting to that point where he's trusted. He's a liable. He's a liable number 2 guy in the mix of things. And so I'm giving them number 4. At number 3, I'm going with Cat and I'm going with Ant-Man. And this is based off of, this is based off potential. You know, these guys are in the middle of the pack for me because you're starting to see the fruits of the labor. You're starting to see that duo start to pay off, and they're getting some success out of those guys. So at number 3, I'm going Tatum, and I'm going Jaylen Brown. You know, we've seen this duo do a lot of damage. They're on the brink of turning that corner and being a championship duo, but they hadn't quite done it yet. So number 1 for me is going to be the guys who've proven it. It's going to be Nikola Jokic for me and Jamal Murray. Proven championship duo. They can get it done. They have enough in those two to win a championship. So that's my number 1.
It's a good reason for the top dog. Chandler, why'd you say right off the top with Luka? Was that what you're talking about?
Because I honestly didn't even think of Towns, but I mean, listen, they're 22-7. They're the number 1 team in the West. They deserve to be on there. I could argue Chet and SGA could be on there. I just feel like when you're looking at a duo, like I feel like everybody we named on those, you know, we both named 10 players. They're all better than Towns right now. You know what I mean? So I feel like I like Joel and Maxey a little better. You know what's funny? Neither of us said Zion and Brandon Ingram, who they think are the best duo in the NBA. So
well, I think that's another trio for me. I can't say those two and leave out CJ McCollum.
This technicality.
People are hot on Fox and Sabonis. People are like, there's so many good duos, but I mean, we're talking top 5 here, Beats.
I know you guys wanted to go 7 because that seems to be your MO. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Maybe a little party or something.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, the running back, yeah. Run it up, run it.
We got 1 minute for a prop party. Chandler, you're first. Go.
Okay, I'll go first. I like put it up there. I got the Mavericks plus 10. I feel like that's a lot of points, which is funny because I also got Luka going under 36.5. They'll cover the spread, but Luka, I mean, that's an outrageous amount of points.
That's a lot. That is a lot. All right. Yep. They're at Minnesota. Lou?
I like Mavs. I like Mavs money line. Big win on the road. And for that to happen, Luka's going to need a triple-double. So Mavs money line, Luka triple-double.
I have a little bit of overlap with you. I have Mavs money line as well, and I have Cat over 9.5 rebounds. Look at me being positive. It's all part of the new year, new me, you guys. That's going to do it for us for 2023. Ooh, get that year out of the way. Let's get a new one. Be safe. We'll see you guys next week.
Bad hair days.
Run it up, run it back, yeah. Run it up, the running back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up.